going on, YouTube? This is Drive Time with Adam. So it's February 15th, 2018. And as many of you have probably heard yesterday on Valentine's Day, another school shooting happened, and this time in Florida. 17 more lives were lost. 17 of our kids were lost to this tragedy. And, you know, people say it all the time. I've said it all the time, you know, and it's very true. This shit is so fucking common now. It's so common. It's not even really a surprise anymore. I mean, it is, but, you know, in the way of speaking, like, you know, as in like when Columbine happened, you know, it was a serious tragedy that was spread out over the course of a long time for, you know, people to grieve and to vent and to have that support. And, you know, that just goes to show, man, that now this will be off the news unless there's updates, you know, within a week probably, you know. And the reasoning for that, man, is there's so many of these fucking things nowadays, man. There's so many of them. As a father of 2 kids, you know, I don't know what to do. I honestly don't, man. You know, we take a hell of a stand against stuff like this, but, you know, when regulations are put in place that make it hard to defend our children, you know, it really doesn't make me put a lot of faith in our fucking government and the systems that they use, because they're not working. They're not working. After many people have told the government and spoke out on it, you know, saying that these systems don't work and these regulations in place aren't going to stop a fucking thing, you know, nothing happens. Nothing fucking happens, man. Every time it's the same thing, you know. Everything's quiet. This shit happens. And they didn't even wait 24 hours this time before they were you know, summoning lawmakers to restrict, you know, shit again. I'm pretty certain that it's going to be you know, another gun restriction, you know, another restriction of the tools that they use to do it, because that is obviously how you fix this. Let me give you some facts here, and these are loose facts, you know, and I'm going to explain myself because I don't like putting out incorrect information. But I just did a real quick search, just a quick Google search, to find the number of school shootings that happen per year. I was actually quite astonished to learn that since 2013, there have been 300 school shootings. 300. You know, taking into consideration that our kids, when they go to school, they're at great risk, you know, and there's nothing we can do aside from homeschooling them and, you know, leaving them completely out of that scenario to protect them, you know. And I just did some real quick calculations of it, you know. So you got 300 school shootings since 2013. It's just the beginning of 2018 right now, but going with the benefit of the doubt and lowering the number a little bit, I did include the whole 2018 in these calculations. So based on that, of the 300, I went with 5 years, and that's 60 school shootings per year. 60 school shootings per year. That's 60 different school buildings that are being shot up per year. So, sitting in my situation, my children are 1 and 4. So my daughter is just going to be starting school, preschool next year. So, including that year of preschool, we have 13 years of school ahead of both of our children. 13 years. And since they're staggered, we have even more. But if you have a kid that's just about to go into school, into public school, you have 12 or 13 years ahead of you, ahead of all of you. 60 school shootings per year and this calculation's loose, and I'll explain that in a second. That means there's going to be 780 plus school shootings, 700, and that's 780 fucking chances that one of those schools that your kid goes to could be the one. 780. And I say this is loose because everybody with a brain can see that this is getting more common, and it's getting, there's less time between them. They're growing exponentially each year. It's growing by a certain percent. I don't know that percent, but they're growing. That means, 1 year could be 60, next year could be 64, next year could be 72. They're fucking growing. That's just an average. 780 plus chances for the school that your children attend to be the next subject of a tragedy like this. That's a very scary thought for a parent to think about. And the more often it happens, the more often I find myself, now that I have children, thinking in that way, that what the fuck can I do to protect my kids? I secure my house very well. I'm not going to go into details because obviously this is public information, but I secure it very well. You would be very hard pressed to get into my house, let alone on my property, or, and be able to grab one of my kids or do them harm in any way or steal anything. I take security very seriously, and I do that for a few reasons, but to think that people do take their security very seriously. They have, security systems at home. They have, updated locks. They have fingerprint scanners, all sorts of biometric stuff, They have weapons throughout their home. They have defensive weapons. They carry weapons. They, all of that. All of that adds up to their home being one of the most secure places in their child's lives. Now you take schools, for instance, and this bullshit gun-free zone. It's the stupidest concept ever. One of the stupidest ever. I mean, these people they're collecting weapons, and they're going to these schools, or they already attend these schools, and they mean to do harm. That means they have this planned out. They mean to commit multiple murder. If you're going to commit a murder, are you fucking worried about jaywalking across the street to get to your mark? Fuck no. If you're going to commit a murder, multiple murder, are you worried that after you commit these murders and you're either shot to death by police or caught, are you worried that they're going to find out that you've converted your semi-automatic rifle to fire in full auto? You added an auto sear to it? No, you're not at all. That's fucking bullshit, man. These people, they want to put their faith into something. They want to be able to believe that their children are safe, but they're not. They're not. And they're never going to be with these current regulations. Ever. They're not going to be safe. We guard banks and our gold, money, wealth. Something that, you can't put wealth, you can't put money on a child's life. You look at a school photo and say there are 50 kids in this school photo, for instance. 50 kids. Think of when you were a kid, how many people followed around you? How many, you had a mom, a dad, when things are, speaking in the average sense. You got a mom, a dad, aunts and uncles, cousins, brothers, sisters. Everybody that you're connected to on a social level. Everybody that loves you and supports you, cares about you. And that's one person. Now you take that and multiply that by 50 people, by 17 people, the number that got killed. Think of how many families out there were affected by this. It gets pretty, think of how many families were affected by the 300 school shootings since 2013. Think of how big and how wild that number is. You know, think about that for a minute. How many people are affected by that? And yet, our greatest defense in 2018, we protect the White House with infrared sensors and pressure sensors and a group full of men determined to save them, or to save the president with their life. Shouldn't our kids get around that same protection? I think they should. You know, we tried it. We tried gun-free zones. Nobody really thought that shit was going to work, but we tried it, and it doesn't work. These people aren't walking up with a backpack full of fucking weapons and seeing this school is a gun-free zone on the door and thinking, well, I can't kill these kids here. I'm gonna have to do it somewhere else, like a Taco Bell. They're not thinking about that. The kids aren't thinking about that do this, and the people that come from the outside into the school aren't thinking about that when they do this. They're thinking about one thing. How many of these people can I kill? How many of them can I get? Will this be seen on the national news? Will people know my name? Will these kids regret fucking with me when I was in school? All that. That's what they're thinking. They're not fucking worried about a gun-free zone. They're not fucking worried about this shit at all, man. And that's what we put our fucking faith in, man. I don't put my faith in it, and many other Americans don't put our faith in it. But some people do, man, and it's sad that they don't have the knowledge and the logic to follow, you know, a basic thought process that these people are not fucking worried about a gun. The people that carry firearms, you know, have a concealed weapons permit, these people have good intentions. These people are carrying these weapons to protect themselves, their families, to protect, you know, random people. You see how many of them lately were stopped by people like that. Hell, there was once a former felon that you know, ended up stopping this. There was a guy in his house with the scary AR-15s. He came out and he matched the gun power of the shooter in Texas at the church. Matched him, put him down, fatally wounded him. You know, that makes me feel safe. That makes me feel safe that there are people out there that are carrying concealed weapons that they don't know me, they don't know my kids, but if something happened, you know, 99% of them are willing to draw and help. That makes me feel safe. And then you take and then you put basically a barrier around the schools and prevent these people from being there. You prevent the teachers that work there from carrying weapons. Based all on the concept that guns are bad, and if guns are close, then shit will happen there. That's not right. It's not accurate at all. We've seen that over and over again. Chicago, they ain't got guns, right? So how many shootings happen in Chicago? You know, fact one, people will get guns that want guns. Removing their ability to legally is not going to stop them from doing that. They're going to obtain these weapons. You know, fact two, the people that you're restricting, and I know you've probably heard it 1,000 times on Facebook and other social media, but it's true. That's why it's said so much. The people that you're restricting by making these gun-free zones are the people that are trying to help. The people that want to be there in case something happens. In case, not to make something happen, not to agitate a situation, not to be the situation, but to stop the situation. That's who we're restricting. Every time this shit happens, man, they immediately call for more gun control. And what is that really going to do? It's not going to do anything but make our ability less to be able to defend ourselves against something like this, you know? So you outlaw guns. No guns exist on the planet. Are people still going to cause harm to students at the school? You may say no, and if you do, you're incorrect. People will find a way. You know, 100 years ago, nobody had been to space. Nobody. Not one person on this planet had been to space. But we wanted to go. We wanted to go to space. We wanted to see what all that's about. We wanted to go to the moon. A lunar mission. We made it happen. Perseverance. You know, we made it happen. Technology has come so far. But the one thing that it can't protect is school shootings. There's no technology for people. You know, our biology, our psychology, our the way we think, our mental illness, you know, all that comes into play, man. I mean, first of all, you need to be somebody that can cause harm to another human, an innocent human. Take me for instance. I could, you know, if there's somebody posing a threat to me or my family, could I cause them harm? Absolutely. I would shoot them without hesitation, because it's protecting me and my family, and this person means to cause us harm. Take an innocent person. Would I shoot them? Absolutely not. They don't deserve to die. They haven't done anything wrong to threaten myself or my family. Normal people don't think that way. Normal people don't think in terms of this innocent person as a target. They don't think that way. They think in terms of, you know, kill or be killed, you know. These people that do these shootings don't think that way. They're not thinking in a normal pattern. They're thinking, you know, in terms of you know, if it's a kid at school, you know, they're thinking, you know, they were bullied for, you know, a few years, and, you know, nobody helped them. Nobody did anything about it. It just kept going on. You know, they told their parents, they told their teachers and the principal, and nothing really happened. And that's one of the biggest faults in America's school systems, is the fact that we don't take that very seriously anymore. You know, that kids have become so mean to each other, and adults condone it, or they just stand by and let it happen. You know, that's fucking sad. You know, when my stepdaughter went to school, I was very surprised to see that kindergarten, she was getting bullied pretty bad, and it was man, it was heartbreaking to see that kindergartners. We're talking 5-year-olds here, man. 5-year-olds. They're so mean, you know, and I don't understand where that comes from. I don't understand if it's the parents, you know, that just teach to be mean to other kids, and you know, or they see that, or what, but 5-year-olds. So yeah, growing up in that environment, going to school and getting bullied, and I was bullied when I was a kid for a short time, until I struck back. But I didn't do it with bullets and killing people. I did it with these. You know, I stuck up for myself. You know, what a bully wants is to be able to bully someone easily. They don't want to fight. They want an easy fight. They want to be able to push you and not get hit back. They want to be able to take your lunch money and you not sock them in the face. That's the reason they attack kids that are weaker, you know, that don't stand up for themselves. It's hard to teach a kid, you know, not to hit, not to have to defend themselves. And, you know, right, wrong, or indifferent, I'm going to teach my kids to stand up for yourself, you know. You come in, you tell me, you tell your mom, you know, and we'll bring it up with the school. We'll all discuss this. But And this is where it changes. But, you know, we'll go that route at first. You come talk to me. I will listen to you anytime you come and talk to me. Anytime. We need to listen to our kids, you know? We need to listen to them, because even though they're not adults, they're still going through these, you know, hellacious fucking environments, you know? School being the biggest, you know? That, you come and talk to me if you get bullied, me or your mom, you know? I'm not gonna go and do something about it to the parents, or that's later, you know? We bring it up with the school, you know? I want to see if that school takes appropriate steps to make this, you know, stop happening. If it don't, I may bring it up with the parents of the child that's doing it, you know, and I may ask them, like, you know, what's your kid like at home? You know, is this something that's common for them, or is this something that's uncommon, and you know, they just do it at school, or what, you know? And I'd ask them to have a talk with them, and so on, and you know, that's pretty much where my final straw is, you know? If the schools do nothing, if the parents don't do anything, then I'll tell my kid if it happens again, you know, they come to me, and the next time it's not going to be, let's go to the school and meet, or I'm going to talk with their parents. It's going to be, all right, well, you know, we did what we had to do, okay? You know, so what I'm going to tell you is, next time they do that, I want you to hit them right in the fucking nose. I want you to blast them right in the face, right in front of everybody. Don't be scared to do it. Don't worry about getting into trouble. You come home, and I will support you. You're not going to be in trouble through me, you know? And that, I stand by it. I fully stand by that, you know? Yes, I'm teaching my kids that they should hit the other child, but only after we've taken the other appropriate steps to try to stop this. Because I'll be damned if I'm going to have my kid for 13 years go through school and have a nuclear warhead shot towards their self-esteem every year they have to go back. That's fucked up, man. And that leads to kids without confidence. That leads to kids that are weak-minded and scared, with anxiety, depression. They have a very shitty view of their... I'm not raising a kid like that. You know, no. It's not happening. So yeah, I'm going to tell my kid, you need to go to that school and punch that motherfucker right in his damn face. You know, I don't regret it at all. You know, but only if provoked, obviously. Don't just go to school and beat the shit out of him. I mean, only if he pushes you, if he puts his hands on you in any way, you put your hands on him. You know, but you only do what's necessary to stop it. You know, you hit him in the face, and if he stops, you're done right there. I guarantee that motherfucker won't bully you again. And I guarantee everybody else that hears about it won't bully you again. You know, it's sad that that's what it's come to. You know, you tell the schools about bullying and shit, and they'll act like they ain't never heard of it in the school before. Oh, that doesn't happen here. It happens everywhere. You understand? Kindergarten, preschool, high school, middle school, every fucking where. 4th grade, 3rd grade, 10th grade, everywhere. There is a social barrier between the popular kids and the kids that are pushovers. And to stay in popularity, for some reason it's become easier just to bully the kids that can't stick up for themselves. But what's happening with these shootings is those kids are fighting back, but they're fighting back in wrong ways. Whether they told their parents once and their parents didn't listen to them, and they felt like, you know, these kids need to be punished, and they picked up a gun and did what they did. You know, I'm not condoning what they do at all. What I'm saying is a lot of it could be prevented, or at least helped, or you could even see what's going to happen in the future, possibly, if we just open up and talk to our children. You know, nobody wants to be the parent of the kid that shot up the school. So take steps to prevent that. When they talk to you about what's happening at the school, fucking listen to them. Try to help them. Act like you care about your kids, you know? And I'm not saying that if a kid's bullied at school and shit, or does that, you don't care about your kids. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying overall, people need to act like they care about their kids. They need to care about them. They need to You know, if a kid brings a problem to you, think of what they're doing. They deemed you, not their friends, not, you know, fucking Uncle Frankie, they deemed you the one that they need to bring this problem to, that they're having an issue. And they think that you can help them. They think by bringing this problem to you that you're going to assist them because they love and they trust you, you know, and they know you support them. So a cop-out of just saying, well, let me know if it happens again, you know, that they're bringing it to, if they're bringing it to, believe me, it's happened more than once. No kid wants to say, you know, I'm being bullied, but it's a reality for many kids, and it's a damn shame. These, back on these restrictions, personally, what I think needs to happen, and this isn't a foolproof plan by any means, but it's much better than a gun-free zone and hope, you know, because I don't have much of that. Not anymore, you know. So what I think would help these school shootings, number one, starting at the level of the parents, you need to keep your firearms locked up. You need to know what your kids are doing. You know, it's not a breach of privacy to know what they're doing. You know, you're their parents. You watch them come out of a fucking vagina, or you push them out of a fucking vagina. All right, that tends to fucking, you know, you bathe them, you change them, you know, you fed them. You were basically their life support as a child, as a young child, a baby. There is no breach of privacy in knowing what your kids are doing. None. You know, you need to know who they're hanging out with. You need to know what they're saying on social media if you allow them to have it. You need to listen to them. If they bring a problem to you, you need to give, you know, an honest attempt to help solve that problem, to help your kids, you know. If they're depressed, you need to get them some help. And it's not shameful. That's one of the biggest fucking things about America nowadays is damn near everybody has a mental health problem in a range, you know. Some are mild and some are severe, and, you know, many people are moderate. You need to listen to them. You need to see these signs, and instead of saying, oh, well, that's not my kid can't be depressed, my kid can't have social anxiety. Yes, they fucking can. And they're giving you the signs. They're showing you, you know, the things that you need to fucking see to determine that look, I you know, I'm not saying that you're different or anything else. I just want you to talk to this lady here for, you know, just chat with her, open up with her, just, you're not in trouble, anything like that, you know, and send them to a therapist. Let a therapist have a more in-depth look at your child's psyche, you know. It's not shameful at all. It's not, you know. And the more we fucking condemn mental illness, the harder it's going to be to stop these instances, because it's not the guns doing it. It's the brains of the people doing it. You know, like I said earlier, it's not a normal thought to want to harm an innocent civilian. It's not normal. But obviously these people do it. There's an unnormal thought process inside of them, you know. And the ones that suffer from this are innocent, you know. You know, if you have a friend at school, you know, so that step one is to talk with your kids and to monitor them. You know what they're doing, know who they're hanging out with, know if they mention shooting a gun and you haven't seen it, you need to know what gun that was, where they obtained it, where this went down at. It's not you prying, it's you being a fucking parent. If a kid shot a gun, if my kid shot a gun and I wasn't the one that did it with them, I want to know, where did you gain access to that firearm at? Who gave you access to it? Was it a friend? And then I'm going to chat with their parents and say, look, man, I'm in full support of the Second Amendment and having firearms, but what I'm not in support of is, you know, these guns being attainable by, you know, my kid and yours. You know, shut that shit down, you know. And if they can't listen, guess what? Your kid can't go over there. Simple as fucking that. You know, this is parenting 101, man. Parents they want to be their fucking kids' best friends, but they don't want to be their parent. You can't be a best friend and a parent. You know what? When you turn 18 and you move out and get a job and you're an adult now, I'll be the fucking best friend you ever had, man. I'll be your fucking homeboy, your wingman, whatever the fuck you want, dude. Because now you're on your own. And now I can give you encouragement and advice as a friend. You know? But as they're growing up, you're not friends. If you're a friend to your kids, you're doing it wrong. And I'm not saying you gotta be mean, or you do everything that a friend does, but you still have those lines. You still draw those lines in the sand that no, I'm your parent. You know? That's what you do. You know? So we take a look at mental health, or fuck. Yeah, that's some sort of mental illness for me, I'll tell you that. We take a look at mental illness. We take a look, you know, you listen to your kids, try to help them. You know, you monitor them, make sure that the things that they're doing aren't a risk to them or others. You know, and you know what they're doing and when they're doing it, who they're doing it with. That's being a parent. That's step one, all right? You also raise, you know, being a parent as well. You know, this should go without saying, but I know parents and I know people out there, and some people aren't, you know, but you need to raise your kids right, to respect and value other people's lives, you know. It's not a video game. When you go to school and shoot people, it affects people, as we spoke on, you know. It's not a fucking video game. It's not something where you just shoot them and they drop and that's it and you get a life point. No, you just ended somebody's life. You just took away somebody's pride and joy. Something that somebody tried so hard to get, to last 9 months through a hellacious pregnancy, to birth that child, and to see the look in their face as they hold their baby for the first time and raise them, and all the decisions that they make, the culminating effect of all the decisions, experiences, memories, things you've told them, things they've done, things they showed you that made you just laugh, everything. You ended that abruptly without any sort of thought into any of that. They're gone that quick. You know, we're fragile. Human beings are fragile. You know, we die, and we can die relatively easily. You know, and by teaching that life is to be valued and not to be mean to other people, to do unto others as you want done to you. You know, if my sister, you know, my daughter pulls my baby's hair, you know, ask her, you know, do you want somebody to pull your hair? Does getting your hair pulled hurt? You know, when we brush it, that hurts, right? Okay, so, you know, what you did to him was you gave him the same pain you feel when you brush your hair. You don't want to do that, do you? No. Well, then don't do it, you know? If you wouldn't want that done to you, then don't do it to him. Okay. All right. Bam. Over time of instilling that human life is valued, and it's not a video game. And, you know, and I'm not blaming video games. I'm just saying that, you know, parents too often, they let their kids just play video games, and they don't parent, because it's easier to sit in the other room while their kid plays video games than it is to do something with them and talk with them. I understand, but also that's doing them harm in the long run, you know. So on a parenting level, doing that, yes, that will help this instance of these school shootings. On a government level, government/school level, you protect our gold and money with guns, with trained body armor. You know, they got body armor on, they have AR-15s, a sidearm, they have training, they have the ability to subdue people and to, you know, to detain them. Why not at our schools? That's all I have to say. Like, Why not at our schools? Why would this be such a difference in protection when you have one being money and wealth, things that can be replaced, things that are insured? There's no insurance against your kids. If your kid gets shot in a school, you can't make a claim and then they come back. That's done. You know, I would love to see that these school zones, these gun-free zones, be abolished. They need to be. Teachers need to be able to carry concealed firearms, first and foremost, because honestly, they're going to be huddled in the room with the students, scared for their fucking lives, because they have a gun, but they can't bring it onto the school property. You have security guards, but they're unarmed. We're not talking about, you know, pickpockets and jaywalkers here. We're talking about our children being butchered, fucking butchered, in a place that's deemed to be safe. That's not. There needs to be guards, security, not of the school district. There needs to be private security placed in every public school. That should be mandatory. Fucking mandatory. There should be a ratio of student to security. Based, you know, how many students you have. That's based on how many security officers you have. You know, these guards shouldn't be there to make sure kids are inside their classroom and this and that. These people should be there in case that something like this happens again. It's not paranoid. It's not paranoid at all. Not when it's happening as many times as it has, as often as it's been. That's not paranoia at all. That's being desperate. That's desperately wanting to send my kids to school and have them be safe and guarded. You know, that's all that is. I just don't understand why they're not. Why there's such a push for, you know, gun-free zones in schools when they clearly don't work. How long has that been instilled now? And how many shootings have happened? It clearly doesn't work. You know, if you took away all the guns, which is something they call for all the fucking time, like that's gonna help anything. Like I said earlier, there's no guns on the planet. Would school shootings happen anymore? No. But you know what would? Bombings. They would just bomb them, like they do, like they did for Columbine. They made bombs. You know. So what? We're gonna restrict all bombs? Well, there already are. How well does this shit work, huh? It's ridiculous. I think there needs to be security at all public schools, all of them, and the private would have their ability to choose, obviously, because you can't really mandate. Well, you could, but I think all public schools need to have armed and capable security to guard our most precious, valued items. It's not our scrapbooks. It's not our photo albums. It's not our guns. It's not our gold or our money or our bank account or our cars or our bikes, our motorcycles, our jet skis, our boats. None of that matters. You can take it all and pile it in one big pile in my yard and set it on fire if that means that my kids are safe and alive. All of it. We'll watch it burn together, but we'll be together. It's fucking ridiculous, man. I can't believe that this is so fucking common, man. I just can't. I can't believe it's so common, and I can't believe that people can't see the basicness of it. How basic it is to protect Now, people out there, probably gonna criticize me, saying, well, it'll still happen. And you're right, it will. That's the problem. That the restrictions we have don't work. The gun-free zones we have don't work. We put armed guards there, and we pay attention to our children, on a parental level. That will help a lot, but it won't solve this, because you can't solve this. And I know I hate saying that, but it's true. You cannot solve this issue. Not completely. You can help it. That's it. That's all you can do. I'll tell you what putting armed guards in the schools can do. In Florida, when this shooting happened, there was a guy, their coach / security guard. And that man went out like a fucking soldier, man. He went out. I could only wish that there's people around if this was to ever happen, with my kids. He was incredibly courageous, and he died protecting the kids. He got in the way and shielded them from the bullets. But furthermore, thinking about that a little bit, this guy was the security guard and the coach. If your security guard has to go to the means of using his body to shield bullets from hitting other students, that tells me a few things. Number one, he didn't have body armor on, which again, it's not paranoia, not if it's needed. He didn't have body armor on, and because of gun-free zone, he was unarmed. He didn't stand a chance in hell. A chance in hell. You take a high school age 18-year-old, 17-year-old kid, they might have had more, energy and endurance to be able to protect the kids there, to protect the other students, than this guy. And I'm not condemning what he did. I'm not condemning him at all. I'm saying he wasn't prepared. And the reason he wasn't prepared is because of these gun-free zones, and the reason being that they don't allow, our teachers, at the very least, to carry concealed. They go to the grocery store and they have a weapon on in case something happens, but they go to school to teach a bunch of kids that we value more than anything, and they can't have the weapon on, or even nearby. It don't make any sense. I think a ratio of armed guards to students, I would gladly pay more millage for schools to do that. I would fucking gladly pay it. Gladly. That's basic. That's something that should have been done already. But it's not. Because the idea of a gun in a school is more scary than the idea of a bunch of grouped up kids that can't defend themselves and basically are getting shot like fish in a barrel. Hell, even if they just said not in the building, I guarantee there would be parents out there that would be happy to split up shifts, sitting outside in their truck with a firearm, an AR-15 and, a pistol, ready to go in case something happened. Even that would attempt to scare off some people, but they look at these zones like, what's going to happen? It's a guaranteed success of their mission. If you make it into that school with that weapon, while school is going, if you make it in to that school with that weapon, you're going to succeed. And that's a very scary fucking thought, that all they have to do is make it in the school. Backpack hides a weapon easily. They make it in the school, and all of our kids end up dying, or possibly dying. They pose our children harm, and that's the realization that things are at. That our kids can be as protected as they can be at home, but when they go to school, they're vulnerable as fuck, and that makes a parent, and really a regular citizen that don't have kids, anybody that has a soul, it makes them feel for it, that this needs to stop. This needs to be slowed down. At the very least, they need to fucking know that if you go there to commit this act, you will be shot. Before you might even get off one fucking shot, you might draw that weapon and this guard puts you down right there. What do you have a gun in school for that you're drawing? You know, that's suspect enough. You know, put the motherfucker down, man. You know, it's ridiculous. I can't believe that this is what this has come to, that we can go to space and we can fucking regrow human ears on the backs of fucking mice and rats. But we can't protect our kids. We can't protect our kids when they're bunched up together and defenseless. That is what's sad about America. That's one very sad point about America. That, you know, we can grow human ears on the backs of rats and go to outer space and take pictures of planets light years and light years away. But we still group our kids together and leave them defenseless, and then mandate laws to make sure they're defenseless. What? God. Anyways, this has been Drive Time with Adam. Hopefully I'm not talking to you about this again soon. But I don't really have much hope for that anymore. All I can hope is these kids or these people doing these shootings get discovered before it happens. You know, somebody sees or hears something out of the ordinary. You're gonna get revenge on me within a month. How? You know, well, this guy said this. And the school fucking watches them. You know, even if that means when that kid comes to school, when they get off the bus, that kid comes to the office first and is searched. I just can't believe that we allow this to happen. That the first thing that people think is take the guns away. There's no guns in the school zone, right? So what's that gonna do? He brought it in there. He didn't care. And neither will anybody else that follows the laws, that is. The ones that aren't going to do this shit are the ones that care. And the ones that are going to do this shit don't give a fuck. Well, until next time, this has been Drive Time with Adam for a very sad February 15th, 2018. Alright, y'all take care.